One.
If you're looking for trouble, you came to the right.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 3 of the Nothing But Trouble podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Archie Mitchell, here in beautiful New Jersey in the middle of winter, and we're here to bring you our best of the best. What are we talking about this week? Well, we're talking about television, of course. No, not that old streaming and Netflix and all that BS. No, actual television. And with me, as always, are my co-hosts. Let's start off to my right this time with Steve Cody.
Old school television.
Sonny the Sandman Zero.
How's it going, everybody?
BPZ.
I love the 80s.
Angelo Anthony Zero.
Hey, how you doing there?
We got Wallace the Train Mitchell.
I love the 90s.
We got Rocky Zero.
Hello, my babies. You're welcome for experiencing my presence.
And we got the Deacon of Pain, Jimmy Wayne.
Yeah.
So, since we have not been canceled yet, we are back once again
Thank
for a
God.
third straight week. And this week, as I said, we are talking about television. And we're going to go ahead and start out with our first genre of television, and that is 1980. And I'm going to go ahead and look to my right and start with a man who was born in 1980, Steve Cody. What was your...
Let's get it
me.
straight.
He was born right in the beginning of it. It was 84.
84, so right in the middle.
Give me your favorite TV show of the 80s.
Okay, I'm going to go with not an actual TV show, but I'm going to go with a classic cartoon.
Okay.
All right.
Those are TV
I
shows.
think I know what you're going to say, Cody.
Masters
He-Man
of the
the
universe.
universe.
He-Man himself, the strongest man
My
in
man.
the universe.
Ooh, I didn't even think of that.
I mean, what more can I talk about? I mean, it was a cosmic character. He had to protect Castle Grayskull from the evil
Skeletor, yeah.
He
I
had
mean-
Cringer, he had Arco, he had a hot mom. I mean,
Weren't the bad
I mean,
guys
what
called
more?
the Legion of Doom?
He had the
No, that's
his-
DC.
Jesus.
his mentor
Oops.
was the
he had
hot.
arms.
You understand? Apprentice, the guardian of Castle
Sheila.
Grayskull.
Sheila was
No,
the sister.
Sheila was the
No,
character.
Sheila. Sheila.
Was
Or
the
Tila. I'm
sister.
sorry, Tila.
Tila
Tila
was
the daughter of
Man at Arms, his daughter, who is
What was
who
the
is
old lady?
very
Go ahead.
hot.
In
That-
Castle Grayskull.
So yeah, I'm gonna go
I
with
got a little sound bite.
Still gives me
Power!
chills.
Something no one knows. I've never watched He-Man before.
Really?
Really? Wasn't a fan.
I remember having the sword.
Which-
The toy
Me
sword.
too.
It was
The
awesome.
breastplate, the sword, the toys.
which a lot of people
I walked around.
don't know is the TV show was only made to sell the toys.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how all those cartoons. Transformers was only made to sell fucking toys.
Which
Hey,
we all at
we
this
all had 'em.
table had all those motherfucking toys.
Yep. I wish I had some of them right now.
I had a Ram-Man.
Sonny.
I'll do mine when Whistle's back.
All right. So then, Bobby Paul, BPZ.
I'm going to go with a show that is very corny, kind of funny, but
I currently have up-to-date He-Man toys.
it's Full House was one of my favorite shows in the 80s.
Danny
my
Tanner.
God.
Danny Tanner,
Good.
Uncle Joey.
Did you watch the new ones on Netflix?
Well, yeah, I was going to say Full House,
You-
not Fuller House.
You had to watch Fuller House.
Fuller House was
It
great, though.
funny. Uncle Jesse was the coolest.
I met Danny Tanner about 17 years ago in a bar with all my cousins in New York.
God.
The late and great Bob Saget.
Yes,
I
Bob
gotta-
Saget.
Hold up.
And everybody that was in the bar walked up and went, Danny Tanner, how's Uncle Jesse? And he kept blowing them off.
Yeah.
So I walked up and I said the line from Half Baked. Did you ever suck some coke for suck some dick for some pot?
Wow.
And
I
this
got
man
it.
started laughing and he went, "You earned
You
yourself
blew
a
it.
drink,
It
buddy."
was
And
for
so,
Coke. Have you ever sucked dick for Coke?
No,
oh, but yeah, that's my Bob
That
Saget
was
story.
a classic 80s show.
that's a good one. All right, what was your favorite episode? Quick, we all watched Full House. Favorite episode of Full House?
I think I loved it
When
when
Michelle had
Uncle,
it.
when
No,
Uncle Jesse crashed his bike and he
Broke both his arms, yes.
And he can't handle it because he can't do nothing. He's so cool. He
Tries to
works so
feed
hard.
himself
He
with a
tries to
one
feed
spoon.
himself.
Go ahead, Sonny.
First and foremost, I got to bring up something that happened last week.
I'm man enough to admit when I was wrong, and I'd like to personally apologize to my friend Wusso. I listened to John Mayer's Continuum, and my life will never be the same. Everything I said last week was wrong,
I have a change,
and
man.
I apologize.
I told you.
With that being said, we talked about not bringing up this show. I gotta do it because it was the best show of the 80s, and that's the Cosby Show.
I have no problem with that.
Will forever be one of the greatest comedians of all time. I'm not going to talk about whatever happens in the future.
Right.
We're talking about the 80s.
Talking about the 80s when he wore those beautiful sweaters.
Everything about that show was.
Oh, we're not talking about Bill Cosby. We're talking about the Huxtables.
Yeah, Cliff Huxtable.
That show will never just be on because that was a show. Whenever it would be on, I would always watch it and laugh for hours. And that's my pick. Except for the Cousin Pam years.
All right,
Yeah.
The 80s was a perfect time. Nothing was wrong. Everything was perfect and beautiful in the 80s.
I think the Cosby Show had maybe one of the greatest.
Mostly because we had no rent.
I think the Cosby Show had one of the greatest pilots of all time.
They still talk about that episode.
Yep.
Your brain's gonna be losing out of your ear.
Angelo, favorite TV show of the 80s?
Well, since Cody used a animated TV series,
Oh, don't use mine.
I'm going to use
Alf wasn't
two.
animated.
Okay.
I'm going to use an actual TV series and an animated.
Go right ahead, my friend.
One is going to be Married with Children.
Oh, very good.
I mean, it's tough. Al Bundy. I mean, it was a great TV show that you grew up as the characters were growing
Right,
up.
exactly.
I mean, there's just so many episodes. It's tough to go by.
True fact.
On the show.
Christina Applegate turned 51 2 days ago.
Yes.
And looks
terrible.
And
Well,
my animated TV series from the 80s would be Thundercats.
because you just started watching it again.
I just started watching again, and me and my son watched the first season, and I was blown away on how good it was.
It was.
Because
Actually
the
followed
storyline,
like a
it had a great story arc.
It was very Star
Week
Wars
by
ish.
week, and every episode catching back up to it was fantastic.
It's one of my favorites.
I didn't realize that there was so much story, and it really wasn't made for kids.
No,
because of the story that it had in it was very. I'm not going to say adult, but it was advanced. It was an advanced. It wasn't for a 5 or 6 year old kid to watch.
It was for a 10-year-old.
Great show.
The Train, Wallace Mitchell.
Wow. Where Cody added cartoons.
It added a whole different aspect.
Up my horizon.
He snowballed.
Because in the 80s, I truly was a kid, and cartoons was my favorite. I have a bunch. My actual favorite I'm going to give to my younger cousin over here, which, by the way, was not watching it in the 80s, and I was. I'll give that one to him.
Fuck you.
But I have a plethora of more. Voltron being one.
Oh, yeah.
Very good choice.
Oh, yeah.
Voltron, people don't know, little tidbit. Everyone had the yellow Voltron guy. Everyone had the red one. But the black and the blue one were the two hardest ones to find.
Yep.
To make actual Voltron.
Right.
Yeah, but you really wanted to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Of course I wanted to say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I'm giving it to. But another bonus one for me would have been Ghostbusters.
The cartoon?
Ghostbusters was fucking fantastic.
It was awesome.
Ghostbusters was fucking
Had the
fantastic.
best toys.
I had the best toys.
Had the best toys. It had.
I used to break Sonny's toys.
And that was, if you go back and watch it now, it really was not.
I
Really
still
for
break
children.
Sonny's toys.
And there was actually a couple of scary episodes in it.
Right. It was
And what a lot of people don't want to understand is where they got the whole thing of Power Rangers from
Was
Voltron.
Voltron.
You know what was
Yep.
bad? You saying Ghostbusters, the rip-off version of the other Ghostbusters.
Oh, no. That's where you're dead wrong. It was Ghostbusters that was original.
Yeah.
And the one I'm talking about is called the real
Ghostbusters.
The real Ghostbusters is a rip-off of the one with the monkey.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that one. Oh,
Rocky.
that was a good cartoon.
Rocky, give us your favorite TV show of the 80s.
Well, I had a whole bit planned and Angelo ruined it, but I'm
still gonna go
Power through it.
Boo this man.
power through it. That was an oops moment on Angelo.
All right, so anybody who knows me knows that this Pacific genre I am obsessed with. I have a plethora of action figures of them today. And instead of saying it, I'm just gonna do this.
I would love to put a commercial hit on there. Viagra, whatever you're ready.
We're ruining it.
Here's in a half shell. Turtle power.
Wait, no, don't tell me. I can't think
Flintstones, right?
Beetleborgs.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 80s cartoon. Now, granted, my favorite version of the Turtles is from the 80s Mirage comics, but still. Yeah, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, greatest 80s show of all time, was my childhood. I had all the toys, and now as an idiot, grown 35-year-old man, I have updated versions of them. Ninja Turtles.
You know, you're alienating like 80% of our audience because toy collectors are who listen to us.
No, we love toy collectors.
Those are my people.
There you go.
We love toy collectors.
And I'm just gonna end this debate here. There is only one selection for who is the best turtle. It's Leonardo, and that's it.
My wife is gonna divorce me if she finds out how much I gave on action figures.
Right.
So we love toy collectors.
My wife has threatened to divorce me on account of how much money I've given on action figures.
Deacon of Pain, Jimmy Wayne, give us your favorite TV show of the 80s.
I'm curious to hear his.
Yeah, I am
TV
too.
show of the 80s. I'm gonna need my boy Wally to back me up. I'm gonna sing the theme song. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
I bet we've been together for 1,000,000 years.
I don't want to sing.
And we'll be together for 1,000,000 more.
Oh, it's like I started breathing on the night we kissed.
Man, you had honey in your voice.
Without love.
Sha-na-na-na.
Sha-na-na-na. Family Ties. The biggest Michael J. Fox fan. I didn't know about the 80s show because whenever come on, then one night, Nick at Night premiered it. I watched every
You said you
freaking
didn't watch it until
episode.
Nick at Night.
Till Nick at Night because it never came on.
Wow.
I didn't even know about it. How lost I was. Greatest show of all time.
Can I crack you up?
Sitcom.
Everyone, I was convinced that Polly and Archie was on the show because I thought that the parents and that was my grandparents.
Wow.
And they used to lie to me that was Polly
All right.
and Archie on it.
Moving on to my favorite TV
Dropping
show of the
names.
80s. Dropping names.
Shit, Wally.
Yeah. My
Go
favorite
back and watch
80s.
it.
My favorite 80s TV show is Golden Girls.
Thank you for being
The song alone.
Listen,
Right.
normally agree with you.
Right.
But when Golden Girls is on TV, I'm like, fuck.
Now, yes. Now, yes. No, I'm joking when I say Golden Girls. I grew up.
Me
I was
too.
a grandparents' kid. I was
Okay.
always with my mother, my grandmother, my grandfather, and whenever it was on, they'd make me watch it with them, and I really didn't care because I got into it. Dynasty.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I know it's like a soap opera and whatever, but
It's the show.
it was dramatic. It was funny. It was, you know what I mean? It had everything.
What was the main character?
Blake Carrington.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My family would flip out for it.
So
I
it
don't
was whenever it was
remember at all,
whenever I'd go over there and it would be on, I'd be like, okay, I'll watch it, and then I get
Was that the one where they shot JR?
No, that's Dallas. That's Dallas. All right.
So that was back in a time when you would have to watch TV, whatever your family was watching.
Right.
Hence is why things like Murder, She Wrote would have to.
Right.
And if you missed
Right.
the episode, you couldn't watch it.
You're
screwed.
Right.
Screwed.
Now, there's one thing I will say that I miss about modern era, like we are in now. I miss Saturday morning cartoons, ladies and gentlemen.
After these messages, we'll
Be right back. I miss seeing the Flintstones, the Flintstone Kids, Scooby-Doo, Looney Tunes. I miss the Disney movie at the ending of the Saturday morning cartoons at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Chip and Dale Rescue.
Yeah.
The Disney afternoon.
Yeah.
Kids don't understand now. If you didn't watch cartoons on Saturday, you wasn't watching
You
cartoons.
wasn't.
No,
you right. Right.
Before
Right.
cable and the Disney Channel,
Right.
and Nickelodeon, there was no cartoons.
So
on there.
going the other way around now,
Uh-huh.
counterclockwise, Deacon of Pain, Jimmy Wayne, give me your favorite 90s TV show.
90s TV show. I'm gonna go sitcom. I'm gonna name a few.
Name one because some of us might actually pick a lot of the 90s.
Roseanne I'm a sitcom man.
Roseanne, that's a good one.
Roseanne, I binge watched it recently. It's funny. It's very
I
realistic.
watched them all.
It was realistic.
I love Dan.
I think
John
I would've
Goodman.
loved the
John
show
Goodman.
If she wasn't in it, it's just John Goodman like it is
No,
now.
because the Connors isn't very good. I don't like the Connors, and she's not
No,
in it.
it's missing. It's
Yeah, it's
missing.
missing
Whatever
her.
of the character we're talking about,
Yeah.
Roseanne. It's
Yeah.
hard. Roseanne, and going by the old ABC TGIF, I gotta go with my number one, Boy Meets World.
Yeah,
Boy
that's
Meets
a good
World.
one.
Boy Meets World.
Corey and Topanga.
Eric Matthews. I think that one of the best episodes ever in TV show was the Scream episode
Yes,
when
when they were in college.
where it was like a Scream, a slasher
Yep.
movie.
Jennifer
Yeah.
Love Hewitt showed up in it.
If
Yeah.
as a kid you wasn't in love with Topanga,
Oh, yeah, you're a moron.
You should just take a long walk off the shore.
Like if you didn't want to look like Topanga in the 90s, you got issues.
I'm actually going to say we all messed up. Thinking
Mhm.
about Boy Meets World, none of us said the Wonder Years.
Right?
I was thinking the
In
one.
the 80s.
I was gonna say the Wonder Years, and then I realized I don't want to be miserable.
Right.
All right.
Or the
Rocky,
Love Boat.
Give us
Rocky
your
could've
favorite
said.
90s.
What was happening?
Wait, while you're still thinking, can any of us go around this table thinking of 90s without mentioning Seinfeld or Friends?
No.
Oh.
That would be. I'd like to see
I hate
all.
Friends. I hate
Thank
Friends
Friends.
does not hold up anymore.
I
I wonder if we go around this
It
table.
does not hold up. Oh, you're gonna
change mine.
you're gonna love my choice.
Go ahead, Rock.
All right. This is my idol in life. It's who I inspire to be.
John there.
And I'm gonna play this for
Does
you.
wrestling count as?
Bret the Hitman Hart.
It's going to be behind. There you go.
I don't know. I'm lost.
That's Batman.
Really lost.
Batman, the animated series.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a Batman tattoo. I have thousands of dollars invested in Batman.
You know, the guy just died.
That
Like,
did-
Action figures and pops and statues. Bruce Wayne is my idol in life. There's only one voice for my Batman. It's Kevin Conroy. Mark Hamill is the
God
only
rest-
voice.
God
Rest in
rest
peace,
his
Kevin
soul.
Conroy.
God rest his soul. Mark Hamill is the only voice for me
Joker.
of Joker.
And Cockknocker.
As an adult, I bought all the seasons on DVD, and my 17-year-old was like 5. We watched them together. I inspire to be Bruce Wayne in real life. It was my entire childhood. Batman, the animated
That's
series.
why you got lost all those times in the caves.
Yes.
And you was hoping to find
The
ninjas.
greatest,
any-
greatest show of the 90s of all time.
If it's any, you're kind of like Thomas Wayne before you got killed.
Hey.
You said before.
Hey.
Wallace.
in the
90s.
90s, as a kid, I watched a lot of TV.
Yep.
But nothing, and I don't know if this counts or not, but for me, this is what I had the most hours invested in. And that was the Monday Night Wars.
Oh, yeah.
That counts.
That counts?
Monday
The
Night
people
Raw
on WrestleNet.com
on
don't want to
paper.
hear about this.
It is,
not a show.
no.
It's a weekly TV
It
series.
is considered. Hold on. Monday Night Raw is considered
a weekly.
the longest running episodic
Got a TV
TV
show
show of all
of
time.
time.
Yeah, it's not fair.
It's almost to 2,000
It's on
episodes.
paper.
There's nothing that when Hulk Hogan and the Outsiders came to WCW.
Oh, my God.
Listen to me, guys.
When Hogan turned heel for the first time, oh my God.
You guys can talk about Game of Thrones. You guys can talk about Breaking Bad.
No, that was the biggest betrayal.
There was nothing more where the world was watching was wrestling.
Yep.
Wrestling.
Austin 316.
It was
And then when Nitro
wrestling
went
at
on,
its time.
when Nitro went on 1 hour before Raw, and they would spoil what happened,
Yep.
because Raw was.
I'd get mad.
Can
I
give
get mad. I'm taping
quick
it. Why are you
story about
telling
the
me?
Monday Night Raws. This guy calls me up. Now I had 2 televisions in my room. One on the top, one on the bottom. This guy calls, hey, do me a favor. I got to go somewhere. Record me the rest of Raw. All right, whatever. Turned out to be the greatest Raw ever. That was when Chris Jericho premiered on Raw. And I had that.
yeah.
That night.
It was. I'm saying
That
it was
night.
that week of
Yeah,
Raw.
that night.
Wow.
You called me, Jim, record
You
me
remember
Raw.
they had a countdown when it
Yeah. It was.
Now, guys, for the older people listening, to the younger audience listening, that's what you had to do back then. Hey, record this for
Right.
you, and then you have to get the tape from your friend
Right,
and bring it
tape
back to
trading.
your house and watch it.
ECW. Angela would come to me in Philadelphia and stay, so we could stay up all night and watch EC
Yep.
What
Wrestling.
channel was it on?
Well, for me back then,
This is not a wrestling podcast.
The people of WrestleNet do not want to hear this.
By the way, make sure to tune in to If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking weekly here on WrestleNet
I'll
Radio.
blow your mind. Back then, for me in Philadelphia, because
Cheap
it was coming
plug.
from Philadelphia, was Philly 57 was for me. Was
Well, for
Channel
us,
57.
Angelo, it was MSG.
MSG.
Madison Square Garden
Yep.
Network.
And for me, it was Philly 57. That was the Philadelphia channel.
All right.
What are we on now?
We're at the 90s. Before we go away from this, the biggest coup in wrestling history. Rick Rude appears on Monday Night Raw.
And then WC.
A little while later that night, appears on Monday Nitro.
I could not figure
And
that out as a kid.
And then at 1 a.m. on MSG, he's on ECW. And guess what he was a part of in all three of those companies? DX, the NWO, and the Triple Threat, the three most powerful companies, stables in company history.
So does that mean in that few days he went to go?
Well, ECW was taped monthly, so it was a month ahead of schedule, a month behind schedule. Raw was taped 2 weeks earlier, and Nitro was live.
Which one he looks the most because I heard that.
Well, on ECW he has no mustache, no beard. On Raw, he's got a mustache. On Nitro, he's got a full blood beard. So the man changed.
Okay, back to TV.
All right, Angelo, give me your favorite 90s TV show.
Okay, one of my favorite 90s TV shows. I'm not going to choose one of the popular ones because there's, obviously you go with the Seinfeld, the Friends.
Of course.
And stuff like I'm going to give you mine.
Of course, that's what we want.
One of my favorite shows that I watched on television week to week, and then I actually rewatched a lot of the episodes because they put them on the Peacock, the Highlander TV series.
Okay.
Yes,
He is stuck in the cloud. The Highlander.
Dungeon in the Cloud.
And I've watched all the movies, and I've been a very secret, insane Highlander fan. But
we've seen a couple of them together.
But I'm going to throw also out there the greatest animated cartoon, in my opinion, and I'm happy that guy left as he debate me on it, is X-Men.
No.
X-Men the cartoon is the great, in my opinion, the greatest animated cartoon.
Agree with him. It was so adult.
Right.
And kind of miserable
right.
off the bat. Like, the first everyone was dead.
I would not miss
it.
It was before its
I
time.
would not miss an episode of X-Men. I would not miss one episode of it. My favorite episode of X-Men is a long shot episode.
Okay.
It's probably one of the best episodes.
Long shot. That's when we're gonna go to the Mojo. They're on that island.
Right. That is one of my favorite episodes of
I
the
love
show.
the Juggernaut episode.
I love. But I'm a big fan of those two shows. Those are my favorite 90s.
I agree with you.
Oh, and just to let the audience know, they are continuing the X-Men 90s TV show.
Yes, they are on Disney Plus, I think. Yep.
What was the last episode? They ended it. Xavier was able to walk, and then he got the broad or something.
It was a cliffhanger.
They left it on a cliffhanger.
It was a cliffhanger.
BPZ, give us your favorite 90s TV show.
Well, I guess it counts if all these other things. Who is this? Who is it?
Yeah, it should count.
Hello?
I'll go.
Go ahead, Sonny.
Well, I was debating back and forth. Me being a 90s kid of all the cartoons and stuff, and I really wanted to say Power Rangers, but at the end of the day, I can't do it. And I'm going to go Chalk because it is my favorite show of all time. And I'm going to go Seinfeld.
Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with Seinfeld?
Yeah.
I'm a Seinfeld fan. I was.
I don't think it's going to pause.
I am going to go with an out-of-the-box show because I am a big sci-fi, mythical, whatever person. Buffy the Vampire
Slayer.
Good.
Wow.
With Sarah Michelle Gellar. They did have the movie of it, and I'm a big Sarah Michelle Gellar fan at the time in the 90s.
I think the TV series was far better than the actual movie.
Well, Sarah Michelle Gellar was better than Christy Swanson. That was
so
for sure.
much better than the movie. It escalated into another level. So yeah, I am a Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I agree with you. Bobby Paul.
I actually came up with a great one.
Go right ahead.
And this show here made some of the biggest superstars ever.
Okay.
Okay. It made Jim Carrey. It made.
You're good. You're good. I forgot about that.
Jamie Foxx, the Wayans brothers, in Living Color.
Tommy
Davis was probably
David
the
Allen
best.
Greer.
It was only 4 seasons, but every episode.
Yeah,
was
but
better
then you
than
think
the
about everybody who, like you said, got a career, and then
biggest
all the
superstars
the scary movies were from that. There was
that,
characters from there.
I think without that show, you don't have some of the biggest actors there is.
I agree with
Jamie
you.
Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
Right.
You might not get Jamie Foxx.
Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez.
She wasn't. She was a dancer.
In reality, Jamie Foxx and Jim Carrey.
J-Lo.
What about Jennifer Lopez?
She was a dancer.
But
No,
she still.
she started.
She got found.
She got because of that. She got the movie Money Train.
Damon Wayans.
All right.
So
everybody.
technically, yeah, she became
So-
a big deal.
I'm once again last to go, which I don't mind. And I was an HBO kid. Maybe call me spoiled because I like to watch HBO shows. I'm going with Tales from the Crypt.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
The Crypt Keeper, the stories. My favorite one is actually one of the first few episodes. It's a Christmas one.
That is
Where-
the first episode.
Is it the first episode where she kills her husband and then a maniac gets on the loose and tries to break in dressed as Santa?
Yeah.
And it's hysterical to me because she's trying to keep him out. The daughter's bringing him through the window. And
She can't call the cops.
She couldn't call the cops.
All the stars that they
Yeah.
had. So it's
what about the
Can I-
directors?
Can I give an amazing story about Tales from the Crypt?
If you'd like to.
Okay. So it's actually a horrific story.
Okay.
So I, for a long time, was having a recurring nightmare as
Mhm.
an adult. I thank God it stopped. But the recurring nightmare was I start off the way the episode starts, going through like in the front yard,
Uh-huh.
You and my brother had the same
going
nightmare.
through the house.
That used to bother me too.
But the most evil, demonic song in the background playing through the
Mhm.
house, into the
Mhm.
basement, and then right before I get to the coffin, to have like the most ugliest demonic devil pop out, I wake up.
Oh God.
Was
All
I
right.
in the coffin?
Nate, I'm gonna mark this down so that way you know where to we're gonna pick back up from. We're taking a quick break and it is 27:25. All right, Nate. So we're gonna go ahead and pick back up at 8:40. But 28:40. So I'll let you know when I tell you the notes. So moving on into the 2000s, I'm gonna go ahead and go first, and it's my favorite show. We're gonna do another one of favorite show all time, and I guess it's gonna still be that one, The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who didn't want to be Tony Soprano? Who didn't want to, you know what I mean?
I did.
The opening montage of him driving, because I'm from Jersey. Yeah, we're all from Jersey, but driving that car and then to just, Christopher Moltisanti and Paulie, and it was just everything
Who was that real cool character they killed in the first season? He was a young guy. I wanted to be him. Then they killed him.
Mikey,
Was it Mikey?
the guy they shot in the woods.
Probably. The only one I did.
He used to do like chin-ups, I think.
That was Christopher's friend. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
guy was cool.
You know, I'm gonna give a crazy stat. As much as I love Tony,
Mhm.
Christopher was always
No,
my
Oh
favorite
yeah,
character.
I love Christopher. When Tony killed him, I was mad at Tony for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
I was furious when they killed Adriano.
Yeah. That too, yeah.
I think season 2 and 3 were the pinnacle
Yeah.
of seasons for it. But I recently binge watched it. The last 2 seasons wasn't as bad. Here's the thing, though: when you binge watch and not wait,
You're
week
stealing
from
what
right.
I wanted to say out of my mouth.
Yeah.
It is good, but just the hype of it was the problem.
Was because Sonny was telling me that Austin's watching it now, and I was saying that whole thing with Johnny Sack, such a big buildup, and nothing happened.
Right.
You know, and maybe listen, we always wanted it to be an all-out war. They definitely didn't give you that. They saved that for the last.
Johnny Sack was one of my favorite characters.
But I'm gonna interject because that was my.
When he got sick.
Again, I'm going to talk, but it is one of the best shows ever made. It's maybe my number 2 or 1 favorite show of all time. I did binge watch it a couple of years ago, and it was more enjoyable watching it in one shot as opposed to. I think a lot of hate for it was waiting sometimes a year,
2, 3 years,
months, 14 months, 16 months. Then you get there, and Christopher wasn't in an episode. Like I waited 14 episodes, there was no Christopher. Really? But watching it one more
I will say the couple episodes I didn't like was when they really went off on the Vito character, the Johnny Cakes episodes.
All right. So let me ask. I got a question for everybody because everybody watches Sopranos, and obviously everybody loves The Sopranos. On it. What would you guys say? Just a random question. Spitball it fast. Your most hated character on the show?
Johnny Cakes.
Okay.
No, that's an episode. Oh, the character.
Well, the character Johnny Cakes. Okay. For me, it was Ralph.
Hold on.
Ralph Cifaretto.
No,
I hated Ralph. I hated Ralph.
I hated when they brought in that old guy,
Robert Loggia.
Yeah, that made no sense.
Because we was waiting for something major, and then nothing.
And then they sent him back to prison.
But
Yeah.
I have to say, I slightly hated Meadow.
Meadow was a cry face for the first few seasons. Yeah.
Are you in the
Tony's son.
Yeah, his son and daughter both in him.
I think they were going for that though.
I have a question though. You asked a good question. I have a good question.
Anthony was a nightmare.
On the episode when Anthony Jr. commits suicide,
Tries
to commit suicide, he jumps in the pool and his father saves him. There's nobody else home. How did the whole world find out about it to start making rumors about it? Because immediately the next day he goes to the Bing. How's Anthony doing? Why would you tell everybody your son just tried to commit suicide?
I gotta change my answer to.
That's the one thing that bothered me. You know what I mean? Yeah, he became a big time cry face.
Oh,
he became a big time cry face. Wally, favorite of the 2000s?
Entourage.
Yeah.
For me, was Entourage.
I wanted that to be us.
Hated it.
Oh God.
Well, I can understand. See, I had a crew of guys back there where everybody. My favorite character in a TV show was Drama, because I'm based on drama.
I loved Ari. You guys always told me I was Ari. I loved Ari.
That was my favorite show possible, was Entourage. So much so that I can't stand putting myself to watch it today because it reminds me too much of 2000.
I agree.
One of my favorite episodes of the show, Entourage, and it's not a popular episode, where they steal the cereal from Margaret.
Yes,
Thatcher,
yes.
And they meet her in the supermarket and they take her cereal, and she's got the last box. It's not a famous, but it's one of them.
No, it's a good episode.
Last year, me and my son, we binge watched it together, and he had the same reaction that I had, and I felt real old. Oh my God, because he's like in his higher teenager years, like 16, 17, and I'm like, he felt, wow, Dad, it's just like me and my friends. See, that's the same reaction I had when I used to watch this show.
What my favorite line or episode is when they go to Mexico to get Vince, and Vince is like, guys, I'm living like a king for $35 a day.
Right.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Right. Right. Angelo, give us your best 2000s TV show.
Well, the obvious pick is obviously The Sopranos, but the show that I really, really like is Nip Tuck. It's one of my favorite shows of all time.
So I would put that was the big three of the 2000s.
I love Christian Troy as an actor and Julian McMahon. I think he was phenomenal in it.
Underrated.
Very underrated. I love the outfits they had. I love that they were in South Beach. I love that they were plastic surgeons and the little stories that they would have of people that coming in. I love that it was just a good television show that's never been touched on.
Right.
At the
Well,
time.
the first 3 seasons was maybe the film
Would you
that
say
TV
that it
show.
wasn't ahead of its time? Wasn't behind its time? It was at the perfect time in television.
I agree.
Very
For
nice.
a show like
ready.
that to premiere and be
Television
on
was ready
television.
for that type of show at that time.
Never watched it.
It's phenomenal.
I watched the bad seasons.
When I went to California.
Once they killed off the guy.
I will say this.
Spoiler alert!
I will say this. The son Matt in that show is
The
easily in
worst
any
character of all time.
TV show you will ever watch, one of the most hated characters you will ever see. I think you wish for him to die at some point. This way, these.
Whoa! Hey, we don't do that in this podcast.
Well, I'm doing it now, but there's no liking him. He's just the screw up son that just can't get anything right.
Him and I'd put him in a class with Anthony Jr. on Sopranos.
You know, at least
You know,
Anthony
Anthony
Jr. He
Jr.
was a little teen kid.
Right,
This guy's a little older.
On the last two
guys-
episodes, he was 20-something and he couldn't figure out his life.
Right.
You know, Rocky.
The show that consumed the majority of my 2000s. It without a doubt, I don't even have to think twice, is 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the pandemic started, I rewatched it from start to finish. Jack Bauer, I'm a nut for that CIA type spy show. If you missed one episode of the season, you were just completely lost. You were never able to backtrack.
You're foobarred.
There was weeks where I literally, like, the guys were getting together and I was like, no, I gotta stay home and watch 24.
Literally. It was before DVR.
It was the first and the last of its kind because the show took place in real time.
Right.
Each episode was 24 hours of that day.
Right.
To me, Jack Bauer's arguably the greatest television character of all time. It won 1 million Emmys. He won Best Actor. Like I said, anything CIA, secret agent type.
Keith Sutherland, yeah.
I'm a huge.
Sorry, I didn't know what you meant.
24.
How about
without a doubt.
What about the
I agree.
episode?
It's a great pick.
How about the episode where we brought a new guy in?
I
didn't watch
don't
that
even
one.
consider that.
So did
24.
it only go one
It went a
season?
season.
All right.
All right,
It went a
quick
season.
20-second story.
Okay.
4 of the people at this table would give me so much aggravation because on the way home from car rides, they would talk about it and I would curse them all with Jack Bauer. And it got me so mad that I had to watch 4 seasons to catch up. And
96
became
episodes.
the biggest fan. And yeah, I got caught up. And
Is it
that's
an hour an episode or is it
An hour.
It's 1 hour
A
an
Fox show,
episode. Each hour is 1 hour of that day. And I don't want to hear the bullshit. Oh God, how many bad days could one guy have? He was Jack Bauer. He saved the world multiple times.
You ran CTU. See what was it?
CTU. Yeah.
But now,
the greatest show of the 2000s.
but now we can move on to the next.
Hold up, Bobby Paul, BPZ.
Perfect.
All right.
What is your favorite show of the 2000s?
Russo took my favorite show. I'm going to agree with him. But another show that was just as good, and maybe was as bad of a badass as Jack Bauer, was Michael Chiklis in The Shield. If you've ever watched The Shield,
It's a good show.
he was a real badass. He really was crooked. The whole time they were trying to take him down, the cops secretly back and forth, and he still got through the whole 5 seasons.
Who didn't go? Sonny, did you go for?
I went.
Cody.
Okay, a out of the blue show. Okay, that was a great show that probably a lot of people at this table didn't watch. Burn Notice.
Yeah,
No,
for me,
I
Burn
watched the
Notice
first
is almost there.
I watched the first
Burn
season, but I couldn't keep up.
Notice in 2000?
Michael Weston.
I tried.
Okay. It was a CIA
No, it was
show
a
And based off a true story.
based off a true
That I
story.
didn't know.
Yeah, that
Michael Weston was actual
agent
person.
got burned. Okay, and he had to redeem
not
himself
burned
and keep on.
Physically, but
Well,
his
burned
identity.
from
Burnt from the CIA, which in in real life, there are agents who get put on the burnt list from the CIA. They erase you. They empty your bank accounts. You never existed. The show was based off of a CIA agent who actually got burned
and literally had to work his way back up to. But
Cody, I think you
fantastic
got
show.
another one though
Has-
under your sleeve.
Well, there is another one. A
And it
big fan
premiered
I was.
2005.
I fully agree. If I couldn't say 24, it would have been burned.
Supernatural. Supernatural
Yes.
was
God.
Dean, the Winchester brothers, okay, was a fantastic show that literally, no joke, the season finale, I literally cried watching the last episode of it.
Well, another funny note about Supernatural is me and my brother Cody over here. We consider ourselves Sam and Dean Winchester. So
Gotcha.
he's
Which
Dean.
one's the
I'm
one with
Sam.
the raspy voice?
I guess Dean.
No, which one is you? Which one is Dean?
Oh, I'm Sam because I would be the more technical, strategic. How do you say it?
Strategic.
Guy,
Strategic.
and Cody's the more
Strategic.
just going guns a blazing.
Listen here, Sammy. We got to do it this way, Sammy.
All right,
So,
all right, Cody, being a Supernatural fan, how hyped up were you for the boys' new season? That he
I
was Soldier Boy, because I didn't know he was from.
Because Dean got turned down for so many superhero
Yes,
roles.
he did.
So sad.
And it was like when I heard Dean was being Soldier Boy, oh shit,
I
this
don't
is
know.
gonna rock.
I don't know if you called me or I called you to say Dean is gonna be in season 3, and we were like two little girls. It was embarrassing.
All right,
Go ahead,
I'm gonna
Jim.
end it. But first, my colleague over here made up a good point. We forgot one show, but here's why we didn't mention it, because it had to be one of the worst last episodes and last seasons of all time. And we got to talk about
shows.
Lost.
I could
Never saw it.
I
Okay.
was going to say,
You
I
never
was-
Never watched Lost.
I
Nope.
didn't want to say Lost as my favorite show.
Never
because
watched it.
Well, we'll
I
address
didn't
the
watch
elephant
it
in the
live,
room.
So I didn't.
I'm
feel
not
like
that fat.
I rewatched it, but it is a great show.
Listen,
It was.
actually,
Man, it just reminded me so much of Game of Thrones of how so good it was up until the last season.
But that's for
Yeah.
another episode
Yeah.
about Game of
I
Thrones.
recently watched a video of the producer explaining the ending.
it was pretty
And
self-aware.
it
All
still
these
sucks.
years later.
They
It
needed.
still sucks.
I've heard on shows before. CM Punk came on like The Walking Dead, and he said, "We needed an after show like this for Lost to explain the episode."
All right.
And it was, you know what? He was spot on. You needed a show to explain the episodes like, wow.
Well,
How confusing,
Yeah,
but
but
good.
like, the Talking Dead don't need nothing to be talked about. I don't know why they haven't.
Right. I don't know
Well,
why they have it anymore.
you're forgetting one main factor
No,
about that show. It was produced by, to go back to a couple weeks, J.J. Abrams,
Yeah.
who was the Cloverfield guy. Of you got to figure it out yourself. It's open for interpretation.
right.
You got to read
Well,
theories.
There's a
and-
famous video. Sorry not to go too long.
You're
He's
good.
talking about filmmaking, and he says, "Imagine I have a box. What's in the box? Well, there's a lot of questions. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's that. Once I tell you what's in the box,
You don't care.
it will never be interesting again." So he comes up with questions that he don't have answers
Yeah, but
for.
that's
And my
not a
answer
show.
to that is fuck you.
Right.
That's not TV.
Well,
TV, and when you make a story, you have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. If you leave the
I
interpretation,
never defended him at any point.
but see that's just
Now,
ridiculous.
I just brought up Lost. It's not my favorite. I'm not putting, but I just wanted to address the elephant in the room why we didn't put Lost on.
Right.
I'm a sitcom man, and I'm going to get heavy. This show, I watched it many times. I think it's one of the shows I've watched the most times, maybe 4 or 5 times from beginning to end of season. And it really kept my mind at ease with the pandemic. That's another future episode. We're going to talk about the whole pandemic. But The Office, I think, is the greatest comedy sitcom. Paul, I know you agree with me on it.
I watch it every
It's
day.
always, it's just on
The only one
the
that's
show.
the only one that's better than the
Is
Office
Parks
is
and Recs and Recreation. But for Office, it's sentimental. It's one of the funniest shows of all time for me.
But it's the
I agree.
perfect. Just leave it on in the background.
JJ, just leave it on.
You'll watch. I remember that episode.
It's like apple pie. It's very warm. It's home.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah,
That's how I say people.
Nothing
Watch
bad
the
ever
extended
happened.
episodes?
Huh?
No one ever
Extended
died.
episodes on Peacock?
Huh?
The extended
Yeah,
episodes?
wait. No, I did
I
one
started
season.
that.
Season 1 of it. It's
It's
awesome.
a life changer.
No, it's awesome. All right, what are we going next?
We are going which I'm going to do a disclaimer after I say this genre. We are going with our favorite TV shows of the 2010s. But
okay.
Off the table right now, as we've all come to an agreement, is Game of Thrones and Walking Dead
And Breaking Bad.
Why? Because we intend to do future episodes about those shows.
Right.
So why waste our bread here when you could listen to us talk about it as a whole?
So
So,
we're discluding those.
We're
three
discluding
shows.
those three. And
I like that.
I'm going to start us off, and I'm going to say
They're
one
all
of
our
my-
favorite shows.
they're all our favorite shows. So
We
we're
would
gonna
all be unanimous
Yeah,
on Game of Thrones.
yeah.
We'd all be unanimous on
Right.
Walking Dead. We'd all be
My-
unanimous on Breaking Bad.
My personal favorite, one of my personal favorite shows of the 2010s was Mad Men.
Yeah,
Because it was
He
set-
just got into it.
I just got into
Well-
it. It's life changing.
It's
You
set in a
finished it?
time.
Not yet. I
It's
just finished
set in a
it.
time where we
About
didn't
stuff.
know anything. We didn't know about it because it's the 1950s and 60s and things. But the main character, John Hamm, is
Was one of the
fantastic.
coolest guys.
Right,
Can I
The second girl
can I get
in
into,
Mary I fell in love with.
right.
John Hamm for me? I'm gonna say this. Reminds me of men in the 60s, how cool and sharp they
Right.
were. My father, grandfathers.
Right.
He's like a real suave type cool guy.
He could sell anything to anybody, and he was willing to talk his way out of anything.
Art, I'll tell you
Right?
this about what's his name? John Hamm's character. I handled the peer pressure of never smoking a cigarette in my life with all of
Until
you.
we watched that show.
Watching
Until we watched
Mad Men,
that
I'm like,
show.
Man,
Well,
I like to light up.
maybe I want to light up a fucking
Right.
cigarette, and it looks real sharp.
Guys, when does it start to you get interested? Because I've tried and it's better than nightclub.
Listen to me.
The first two
No,
episodes,
no.
you're hooked.
I
It's
can't do
him
it.
advertising
Can't do
and
it.
how good and figuring out. It's a good. It's
All
Sopranos
right.
without the murder.
All right,
That's
well,
how good I put
Rocky,
it.
you said you couldn't get into it. What's your favorite show? of
I
the
could not get
2010s?
into it either.
We'll get to you next.
My favorite show of all time. Now, we're not starting this tangent because it will be for a future episode. From season 1 to season 7, it would have been Game of Thrones.
Of course,
Agreed.
there's no question.
But because it ended so badly, my number
Save
one
it. Save it.
all-time
Save it.
show. No. Because of the way it ended, my number one all-time favorite TV show changed because of it. And that is the Daredevil Netflix series.
I agree. It was a great.
I
For
agree.
me,
I agree. I just
Listen.
watched it.
I'm
from
2 seasons
season
behind.
1
I'm 2 seasons
From
behind.
season 1 to season 7, it was Game of Thrones. Because of the way it ended, Daredevil took the number 1 spot. It's really between 24 and Daredevil. They're absolutely neck and neck. But because I said for the 2000s, 24, I'm going to go with Daredevil. Daredevil's in my top 5 all-time favorite comic book characters. I'm an obsessive Daredevil fan. Matt Murdock
yeah.
is one of my favorite Secret Identity characters. He's up there for me with Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark.
It's
Then
been a lot more misery than he has being poor and having no
right.
vision.
Then when they bring in Punisher in season 2, spoiler alert, the episode when they're on the rooftop and Daredevil, Punisher has him chained to the furnace and the dialogue. And it's just the greatest.
Me and my son watched it. We binge watched it. I think our favorite scene with what's his name?
Charlie Cox.
No, villain. Kingpin. Give me your jacket. Gives the guy jacket and he beats him. He kills him.
Well,
To death. This guy.
I'm gonna take a minute and one scene. My favorite episode is Daredevil and Punisher meet for the first time, and Punisher has Daredevil chained to a furnace, and they're having this dialogue back and forth of how Punisher kills villains and Daredevil gives them a chance, Punisher is going. They get back on the street, and then Daredevil goes with a line. Oh, so you just kill him, and then Punisher goes, "You're goddamn right, I do." And it was just, I don't know.
What do you
John
think?
Berthold is
No,
amazing.
What do
in
you think of
everything.
Daredevil and She-Hulk, the new red and the orange outfit?
The Disney Plus Daredevil is going to have a completely different tone. Daredevil doesn't appear in the daytime. That was stupid for me. He's not a. There's a lot of wrestling
It's better
fans
than
here,
nothing.
so they're gonna understand this term. He's not a clap and stomp baby face. So I don't know. I'm waiting to see. He's getting an 18 episode series. So
18 episodes.
18
Yeah.
episodes. All
It's
right.
like a half a year.
Can I add? I think a better moment in the Daredevil show was the last episode when
This
Kingpin.
city beat you.
I beat you! Oh my God!
Oh, man.
Wow.
Angelo,
Like, it's so good. My 14-year-old son who has autism watches it all day.
Angelo, give us your favorite 2000 show.
Okay, one of my favorite 2000 shows. I'm not going to pick one of my obvious picks because I'm going to leave it for my friend Stephen Cody to pick. Because
We're very
I turned
cordial
him
here.
on to it,
We're
so
very
I'm
cordial
gonna
here.
extend the olive branch to my friend to talk about it after I talk about
You turned
my
all
show.
of us on to the show you're not
Yeah.
speaking of.
The show I'm not speaking of, but it's
He who
my
shall
obvious
not be
pick.
named yet.
But one of my favorite shows, and it was true HBO television, is Boardwalk Empire.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's the best one.
Boardwalk Empire, in my
It got
personal
so
opinion,
weird and it's so hard.
Hear
The
me
first
out.
was so good.
Season 1, okay, you had your main antagonist, then they killed Chris Penn, or what's his
Once
name?
they killed him,
Chris-
then I was
Yeah,
like,
it
where
was
the
like-
Where the show is going to go? And in my opinion, season 3 is the best season of Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, season 3.
Bar none. The character Jip Rossetti is
Yeah.
quite possibly the craziest character in a TV show.
He reminds us
that
of
could ever
every
happen.
one of our family
He
members.
is
What
insane.
was the word he said to me?
Bon Fortuna.
Yeah. So
That means good luck in
He
Italian.
thanks
My-
us.
He wants to wish me good luck.
he couldn't.
My problem with Boardwalk Empire was I couldn't take Steve Buscemi as a serious gangster
I kind of love
character.
Steve Buscemi. It's
He-
kind of hard
he-
not to
he
like
was
Buscemi.
serious.
He was
No, I
He's
love Steve
great.
Buscemi, but just him as that type of character.
Season
Like,
4, some weird things were going on, and they delayed it. They came back, and then the final season picked up, but there was a major time jump in it. But overall, there was some good outfits, great characters, good shows. I mean, you got the character Chalky White, that was great in it.
What was the cop's name?
Uh,
I know the actor, but I can't think of his
well,
name.
Elias Thompson.
Yeah.
Elias Thompson, his brother, was a great actor. There was just so many good characters in it that you got attached to in the show. There was the guy, I forget his name, with the half a face. That was a
Yeah,
great
that was a good
character.
character.
It was a great character where he was a sniper.
He ended up being actually the main character by the end of it.
So many good shows.
Cody, Angelo.
Sonny.
The show for you, Cody. You go next.
You know what? I thank Angelo for leaving me with Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the show Johnny Drama was in? Or not?
And you know what? I'm gonna
Victory!
take that. Vikings was a amazing show that I actually watched through 2 or 3 seasons straight through the winter pandemic break.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. The characters, Rygron, his
Rhaegar.
brother was fantastic.
Ragnar.
It was great, and it was a lot of true but not true. Okay, and it was a great thing of how the Christian, you understand,
That right.
religion fought with.
Christians are the ones that caused
Vikings.
Ragnarok. Was unbelievable.
It was an unbelievable
I
show
think it's some of the best fight scenes
that you're gonna
you'll
get in
ever
history.
see in a TV show. Period.
All right, I told this to my brother, you understand, who was watching it. I consider the first 2 seasons of Vikings, or maybe the first 3, the big war scenes being maybe better than Game of Thrones.
And then to top it off, after a major character falls on the show, no spoilers, you think where is the show going to go from
They
here?
still
It only got better.
carried on
It only got better.
with 3 more seasons.
I didn't like it as much as you guys did.
Oh, and
You
Floki
finished it?
was
I
a
finished
great
it.
character.
Great
I
character.
didn't like it as much as you guys did. I honestly think a better show than Vikings is a show called The Last Kingdom.
Yes, I watched.
never watched The
I
Last
watched
Kingdom.
4
The Last
episodes
Kingdom
of
is
it.
fantastic.
Very similar. Very good.
All right, Sonny, you're up.
Well, for me, the show I'm going to pick, honestly, yes. If we was allowed to say anything, I would say Breaking Bad is my favorite show. The show I'm going to say is still, honestly, one of my favorite shows. Only Wally has watched it. It's only been 3
You
seasons.
can keep wanting me to watch it.
It's a show I'm pointing out because I think everybody should watch, although it's not for everybody. I'm talking about the show Succession on HBO.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like if Game of Thrones had nothing to do with
Medieval
medieval times and it's just backstabbing and family drama. The acting and the writing is honestly as good as it gets, and the characters are all phenomenal. It's all the worst people you would expect. They're pretty much all Republican, pretty much loosely based on Rupert Murdoch. But each season, I would say, gets better. Each cliffhanger that went on, I would say, gets better. And I can't wait for season 4.
All right.
Oh,
We
there might
see?
not be a season 4.
I believe they'll make one eventually.
No. I did.
It's also the ringtone on my phone.
HBO just scrapped. Are you ready? Westworld. They just freed up.
Westworld
Shit,
sucks.
though.
They just freed up $3.5 billion.
Westworld was shit.
Rumor is that Succession might actually be on that.
I would be as devastated as you could be if they.
But if you're a Game of Thrones fan, HBO freed up $3.5 billion of bullshit shows they got rid
You
of.
guys should have said The Leftovers.
You know what? That's a
Yeah,
hell of a pick.
leftovers.
Because, you know, like what Musso was saying about John Mayer weeks ago, that's how I feel about The Leftovers.
My Uncle Miller cursed everything I owned.
Oh
because
God, I
got
hated
that
that
show.
That show.
Oh,
I got this one. I'm actually shocked. No one said it. I think everyone here watched it. First season was fantastic.
Okay.
Then they had to make a prequel of it
Okay.
because the main character died.
Oh,
I wanted to say it, and I didn't say it.
Okay. I
And
just
then
figured it out.
Spartacus.
Yeah.
oh man, I
Listen,
forgot about
Everyone talking
Spartacus.
about shows.
Spartacus is a good
Empires
one.
was great. This was great. That, but there was a lot of episodes that was bad. I don't think there was one bad episode in Spartacus.
No, I don't
Every
think that was
character
a bad
was
one.
good. The fight scenes were
If
good.
Spartacus was the same show but not on Stars, I feel it would be a much bigger deal. If it was on HBO,
The
Then
plots were
Not
good.
many people get stars. You're
I
right.
think it was
I
one of the
think
first TV
Gallagher's-
series ever on Stars.
Gallagher
Mhm.
was maybe one of my favorite characters out of the show ever. From it, and I think if the guy didn't die, I think the show would have been even better.
the show would have been. They did
You know
something.
what it was? The guy that replaced him
Just looked like
was
it, but-
really good,
But the other guy was.
but the guy
It's an
before him
impossible
was
he
just
situation.
so much better.
He was Spartacus.
The guy
It
in
would
the
be
first
like
part.
replacing Chadwick Boseman
Yeah.
right now. Just
was
scrap the character.
unbelievable, but they nailed it with that other guy.
No, it was my favorite.
All right, Wally, you demanded to go last. Give us your favorite of the 2010s.
The boys picked everything that I would have picked. I mean, so I'm picking 2 shows that, but there's no 2 seasons of them, so I don't know how this counts. But the 2 shows that I can think of, Squid Game,
Okay.
Yeah.
that, but I mean, I know there's not
count as of
seasons.
now. Yeah, I mean,
but
listen. Yeah, I agree
You
with
guys picked everything
The
that I
most
would have.
honest show, but it was fantastic.
But it's a TV show.
But it is a TV show.
And they are making.
Hold
a
up,
season
though.
2
Hold
of it.
up, though. I have to disqualify
Still
that.
haven't
I
watched
feel
it.
2020 does not count. It's a new decade.
I feel like
Started in
2010
2020.
and up it counts as everything.
Right,
2020,
right.
I don't know.
We didn't discount it. You're good. You're good.
10 up.
Well, so that's why I really didn't got nothing.
What's your other one? You
I'll
said you
give
had
you
2.
one that nobody said. Better Call Saul. You love that.
All right, but see, well, no,
Because I wanted to say it.
Well,
but
that's-
We can
that's
talk
the
about Better
Breaking
Call Saul. It's
Bad.
not
but
Breaking Bad.
We wanted to go. I didn't want to go that.
Right, because we could use that with the Breaking
No,
Bad.
then it was The Walking Dead, guys.
We're gonna save that for another
The
episode.
Walking Dead then was if we're
All
going
right.
2000.
Well, then since you
horrible.
since you got spoiled, we're gonna start our last category off with you.
Hold
But you
up,
got
hold
something
up.
you'd like to say?
I never gave my 2010, so
Oh,
should I just go? fuck
Well, then
myself?
maybe you're being too quiet. Then you should be
I
louder
was a
like the rest
gentleman,
of us.
everybody. All right, since we're doing, you could do 2020s. First one,
Let's switch to The Walking
2010.
Dead.
Sherlock. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Is
What's
that a
his
movie?
name? No, it was a TV show.
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
That show made him famous.
That got him Doctor Strange.
That was a very good show. But to name a few, Last Man on Earth, maybe one of the best shows to
Season
get
one.
canceled.
Oh,
No,
Season
all
2
of
was
them,
good
all
too.
of them were
Season
good.
3.
But again, I'm a
But
sitcom
yeah,
comedy guy,
They
number
just
one right
canceled it
now,
out of nowhere.
and
right?
they're not done with it. Ted Lasso. It's one of the greatest
Okay.
shows on any network.
Apple.
Streaming. Apple. It's fantastic. I
What
recommend
show
that.
you said?
Ted Lasso.
Oh, yeah.
As
great.
much as I like that, I like Mythic Quest, the show no one
And
ever heard of on
Mythic
Apple
Quest.
TV.
I did. I watched it.
Can I throw a show out there that we all love?
Go ahead.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh,
Yeah.
that. All right.
Yeah,
I
We
think-
all love What We Do in the Shadows.
Well, I got you guys. all
I got
started
one
on
more,
that.
and we all agree
I
on
got
this.
him started.
It's
on
the
it.
greatest season of any show of all time. True Detective season 1.
We will not agree on that.
I will not.
I will not agree on that.
at all.
Sorry. I've always said
I
I
liked
hated
it.
it.
I liked it.
Season
I
one.
liked it, but it's
I
not the
didn't like
greatest
season
season.
Right.
One of the. I think it's one of
I
the
did
first
like
season.
it.
The
I
first season.
liked season 2 so much more.
Ew.
I liked the last season.
You know what you and I are sitting here acting like?
What?
Family Guy. I don't like The Godfather. It's
But-
what
but-
do you like? I like the money pits. I like the money
the
pits.
Godfather 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I never really finished it.
And I will give everyone
Oh,
that's,
God,
that's
three was
listening
terrible.
to this another show that they could sit back and watch. It was a Fox show, and we all know that Fox shows are always doomed
Oh, I
because
know.
they
Yeah,
cancel.
The dinosaur show.
Prison Break.
No,
No.
all
Prison Break ended with
Prison Break. You understand?
The
And
Sarah Connor Chronicles.
and Sleepy Hollow.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh,
Sleepy
shit,
Hollow
yeah.
was a
Sleepy
great
Hollow.
show.
To whoever is watching,
What was good?
watch Sleepy Hollow and Prison Break.
Sleepy Hollow is
Wait,
so
what time?
up in Steve Cody's alley.
Say it.
It's crazy.
Like there is a headless horseman action figure with the horse that is like
Look how they
That's
were
probably
doing it.
$200 that I won't be
I'll go
purchasing.
partners with. No, why would we own it?
All right, back to Wally.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback off of Cody was saying about a Fox show. The show me and Angela used to snap on and use week to week was a show called Wayward Pines.
What was the Abbey
M.
Road?
Night Shyamalan.
Show was
Right?
Yep, you're good.
fantastic. One season. Oh, we might not get another season. Oh, it got renewed for another season. Wow. Show was
I
fantastic.
could have
Any other network had it, it would have been a 5-6 year
Right,
show.
right.
But Fox is just the worst.
Left it on an amazing.
I think we're all
cliffhanger.
in agreement. Fox is so fat. Their highest producing, grossing show of all time is American Idol, and they got rid of it. They let
Yeah.
American Idol go.
And
Right.
they brought it back after they realized.
Guys, they make,
ABC
that
picked
they
it up.
they make so much reruns off of The Simpsons.
I just
They
realized
did
I don't
not.
watch anything on network television.
Conan O'Brien, when he left the Tonight Show, was trying to get a Fox deal, and they were like, "No, we did crunch the numbers. We make more money at that time slot with The Simpsons."
Can I throw a 2010 show that I absolutely loved? It was
Go
one
for
of
it.
my favorite shows.
Go for it.
Suits.
Yeah,
Harvey Specter was just like the coolest.
I don't know.
that was on USA, right?
It was on USA.
Yeah.
The
Used
way
to go
he
on
dressed,
after all. It was good old.
the way he dressed, the women he dated. I was in love with his secretary, the redhead, his outfits, his suits, his shirts, his ties, the way he would battle.
good.
It was a fantastic
A
show.
good and bad 2010s TV show at the same time. Mr. Robot.
I
Yeah,
never watched it.
yeah. Christian
Guys,
Slater was fantastic.
Part
in that
one,
movie.
season
No,
1 is phenomenal.
no,
Season 2 is
got
unbearable.
weird. It got
Season
weird.
3 is good.
All right.
season 4, final season was great.
It did
I didn't even know that.
We forgot one,
What?
and I think we should do a whole episode on that too. Cody, we fucked up. Cobra Kai.
Oh, well, yeah, that gets its own episode.
Yeah, but I mean,
No, we need a whole episode.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I think
Yeah.
that's the whole Karate
Yeah.
Kid.
Cobra
Let's
Kai.
actually first talk about the Karate Kid.
Yes, that's what I'm
Yes,
saying. Just the
yes.
whole Karate Kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're planning for future episodes.
You
ladies
are-
and
And if we were
gentlemen.
going to do
Brainstorm.
favorite characters of a
Get some
movie,
people going.
Terry Silver would have been.
I'm not gonna lie, they made
A
it to
candidate
New
of mine,
Year's
his favorite
2 years in a row.
character.
I wish it was coming out again for New Year's.
Viewers,
All right.
yous are in store for Walking
Walking
Bad.
Walking
future
Dead.
episode. Walking
Say it.
Dead,
Headline.
Breaking Bad.
Walking Dead, Breaking Bad,
Game of Thrones,
Game
along
of
with House of
Thrones.
Dragons.
House of Dragons, and Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
So
Those are
that's
future
like 5
episodes. That's down the road, but we will get to them. We promise. All right, Wally.
I gotta throw one more out there. The Kenobi series for me was a masterpiece.
Yeah. It was.
I'll agree with that.
Kenobi for me was a masterpiece.
Oh, we
And
forgot about
that's
the
all
other
I'm
one
saying.
was better.
The other one.
The other one was better.
Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot the Mandalorian and
was
Guys,
Kenobi.
we could do one on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Real quick, when Luke Skywalker, spoiler alert, when Luke Skywalker
Oh.
came in at the end
I
of the
haven't watched it.
Mandalorian, I legit, it brought me to tears. I
Well,
cried.
thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. I didn't
As you
watch
can-
it yet.
Cried like a baby.
As you can see, we love television, ladies and gentlemen. We love movies as well. And we didn't bicker that much as we did in the music episode about John Mayer.
Right.
So,
John
Wally.
Mayer's to go.
Wally,
Yes.
this is our last category. Give me your favorite TV character of all time.
Fucking, I just started Terry Silver, Karate Kid Part 3.
So, in the
Luckily,
Cobra Kai
he was in
series.
Cobra Kai.
Right.
And he's in Cobra Kai. But as a kid, that was my favorite character. Hell, I'll even open up dojos for free.
I think you beat his pants.
You know how much coke I was doing back then?
That was fantastic.
What happened to these
We were
kids?
terrorizing kids.
BPZ, give us your favorite character of all time.
Movie or
TV.
TV.
Favorite TV character of all time.
You know what? I'm gonna give it to one of the boys.
I'll go.
All right, go ahead, Sonny.
Good one.
So we watch shows like Breaking Bad, and I would have said like maybe Walter White, but realizing it ended a few months ago. Better Call Saul.
Saul Goodman.
We seen
Yeah.
Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad as a side character that was funny.
Right.
That lasted. It had to be 4 seasons with him in there. Then to go, they're making the new show, figuring it'll be real quick and he's gonna turn into him. No, they really
It
waited.
really did.
They
It
stretched
really
it out.
showed
really did.
him being a normal guy that had a little
I gotta
odd
finish
functioning problem with
A
his
slow burn
brother.
of slow burns.
And
That was.
you really seeing it.
I
I'm not
hated
gonna
his
say-
brother.
I'm not gonna say
The
I
older brother
hated
got
the
me
ending.
angry.
I hated him, but he
I
was
hated
great.
the ending, how sad it made me, but it really was a perfect characterization,
It was an arc, a perfect
a
arc.
perfect arc from Breaking Bad to
No,
see what
no,
it
it
truly was in
it
Better
was.
Call Saul and finishing it out. And I don't think there's a better character in
No.
television history.
Rocky, favorite television character.
It's between 3. I can't
Okay.
pick. I'm gonna eliminate Daredevil because he's a comic book
And
character.
you mentioned him already, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
I'm eliminating him because he's a comic book character created by Stan Lee. Doesn't count. It's between 3. I can't pick any of them. Jack Bauer,
Yeah.
Ned, and Rob Stark. I can't
I like
pick
it.
any of them.
2 of those characters were idiots.
It's 1 A, B, and C. Jack
Is that the
Bauer
stuff?
for
All right.
me, greatest agent of all time, and then Ned and Rob Stark.
Quick story before we go away from that. As it pertains to Game of Thrones, everybody at this table started watching it when it first aired. I didn't start watching it till just before season 4 came out. So I
That wedding,
binge watched.
That made everybody.
I
watch
binge
it.
watch, and I get about 3 episodes in, and Angelo calls me and said, "Are you watching Game of Thrones?" I said, "Yeah, I'm 3 episodes in." He said, "Who do you like?" I said, "I like that Ned Stark guy." He's like, "Oh yeah, everybody loves him." The very next episode, he gets killed. I call him up, like, "Why wouldn't you tell me?" He's like, "Why would I spoil it for you?"
Well, real quick. Few times in movies or TV has it ever gotten me to a point of actually crying. Very few times. The main time was the Red Wedding.
Oh,
when
yeah.
Rob Starr died, I was
Save it.
Oh, you're just talking a little bit.
I'm just saying as a character.
Right.
Save
You're
it.
good. Stop it, guys. You're good.
They were
Right.
I've never seen them on such an accordance with
Yeah.
all yelled.
We got
Oops to all of you. Oops. Cried hysterically like
Go
a
ahead,
baby. It's
Well,
Favorite
great-
character of
great
all
character.
time. TV character.
well, I like Christian Troy from Nip Tuck a lot. He's a
That's
cool
a good one.
character. I really liked him. As a warrior character, I really like Ragnar from Vikings. He's a great actor too. He got picked up on that HBO Max TV series. What's the name of it again?
the Alien prequel
Predator? The Predator? No?
Sleep of the
Wolf?
Sleep Wolves.
Yeah,
Sleep Wolves. Okay.
Something Wolf. Yeah.
Raised by Wolves.
Raised by Wolves.
And he's
Okay.
just a great actor in it, and he really acted in that. So those two characters I really liked a lot.
All right. BPZ,
All right.
back to you.
Whistle took a lot of characters. Angelo mentioned Christian Troy. It's a show probably none of you guys probably didn't see it. It was on USA. It was called White Collars.
Yes.
You watched it?
Yep.
Yes.
What was
Again,
the
it
name-
followed Monday
what
Night
was
Raw.
the main character's name?
Oh, God.
Well,
I haven't seen it in so long.
At the end of it, he was a crook, and he works with the FBI, and he's just a cool guy. Fancy
Neil?
clothes, girl.
Neil?
Was it Neil? Yeah.
Neil Caffrey?
And again, a random character. But like if I wanted to be a Locklow that was realistic,
Right.
that wasn't mythical, wasn't powerful, it would be this guy.
I agree because it was a cool show.
Yeah.
Jimmy, favorite
Um,
TV character of all
I
time.
have to say, I was torn
Mark
between
Ruben Chuck.
Dwight Schrute from The Office, Ted Lasso, but number one, it's you already, Ari Gold. Ari
Yeah.
Gold.
If you would have saw the look I just gave him when he said it's you, Artie, I'm like, what?
Ari Gold.
I love you too.
I love you too, baby.
If they would have listened to him,
You're on the Truman Show.
His-
I changed it
Yeah.
too.
his career would have been.
You would have had
phenomenal.
Academy Awards.
But they never listened to Ari. He had best interest for them.
Yep.
If you really rewatch that show and realize he had the best catchphrases, best lines, best.
Oh my
scenes.
God.
Did any of their own projects ever succeed?
No.
No, only his.
Wait,
Only
I'm
the
lost.
ending
What
with
show
the-
are you talking about?
Entourage. Ari Gold.
Ari Gold. Greatest.
Guys,
All right.
we didn't want to eat at Bobby Flay's because in the show we had him in I don't know how to say it in English. How the hell do you say it?
We got sick from it.
Yeah, from Bobby Flay when he
Yeah.
did to Ari.
Yeah. All right, so
I've never seen the movie, and that's not a lie.
I just watched
I
it
heard
recently.
It was so awful from
No, I
everybody that
loved
watched
it. I loved the movie.
The movie?
I love the movie.
What's it? They hated it.
Vince again is always trying to make something
Yeah.
stupid, but Ari is fantastic in it. I'm going to end this out here, ladies and gentlemen, and I have two because my all-time favorite character, as I mentioned earlier, is Tony Soprano. I wanted to be Tony Soprano growing up. I wore the funky-looking golf shirts. I wanted to drive a truck, you
Who
know.
wore a pinky ring?
No, that was in the 80s, but
A lot of coke.
a lot of cocaine.
Definitely went on.
You know, Tony Soprano was it for me. But now recently, and I'm not going to get too deep into it, my current favorite character is Daemon Targaryen from House of Dragons
Mm-hmm.
because he's just badass all around.
Good
Yeah,
character.
it is.
Yeah.
When he cut that guy's head off.
Yeah. Well, because that was the whole joke of it.
Yeah.
Because the guy's like, he's about to say it, and all Daemon does is look at him and go,
Boom.
say it.
Yeah.
And when he says it, you
Yeah,
might lose your
say
tongue. Cuts that up.
Totally.
He can
told
keep his tongue,
Yeah.
but he lost his head.
Yeah, that was it for me.
And for Cody not to get mad, he looks just like my nephew Frank.
I mean,
He's a handsome guy. What's
I mean,
the
listen, he ain't no Dean Winchester from Supernatural, but you know.
So that's going to do it for our TV episode. We want to thank you guys for joining us yet again. Tony Bucco is apparently lost at the Menlo Park Mall for all you New Jersey people. He was trying to get into Nordstrom. Yeah, he was stealing candy from Nordstrom, we
I
heard.
can't imagine people keep coming in to hear Tony Bucco.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys are
He actually was arrested for
indecent exposure again? No.
The Nordstrom's coffee place.
Yeah.
He went over the counter and
That's
was
still
stealing
open?
ice.
But technically, our people is working to bail him out,
Right,
for
which is-
him to be on the next.
So the budget
episode.
might be a little cheaper next week. Yeah.
Yeah. They're
So-
cashing the check now.
Thank you guys for joining us. We will be back next week. And thank you for listening. Have a great night, everybody.
Be good, my babies.
Good night. Peace out. Oh, God.